Good morning, everybody. Nikki Burnett here. Today's Taste Life Nutrition radio and podcast streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. Today we have Rob Rene. This is going to be a fascinating show. If you have heard of quantum healing, this is the show for you. If you haven't heard of it, this is the show for you. It's really amazing stuff. I am very surface level with this stuff, and so Rob's going to help us dig in. So, Rob, thanks for being here. I'm so excited to hear all of the cool things that you have to talk about.
Yeah,
it's so hard to understand.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. It's going to be a blast.
Yes, it is. Awesome. So, first and foremost, as always, we start the show with gratitude. Gratitude can change the world. And so, Rob, what are you grateful for?
Oh my gosh, I could go on forever. Obviously my family, but I have to just say, it's probably cliche by now, but that's my Lord and Savior. It's like if I didn't have Him, then literally through Him I can do anything. And I believe I'm finally, after 56 years old, and I believe just the last few years I'm finally stepping into the life that He had designed for me. And I look back at my entire life and I can just see it, how He put all these pieces together to build me as the person that I am, and it's just fascinating because I would have never envisioned I'm doing what I'm doing now.
It's so good because I think the same thing. We talk about the same thing a lot here on the show. When I'm talking with random people, because it's true. The most beautiful thing, we don't want to live in the past, but to have the ability to look back and excuse me, to look back and see. Like literally see the steps that God takes you in order to put you on the hard stuff, right? You've got some hard stuff that you had to deal with, and the good stuff, and the people you meet, the people you lose. I mean, it's so beautiful to watch and be able to look back and go, holy smokes, I didn't know it then, but I'm starting to get it.
Yes, I know, and it's like I feel like I had my head in the sand for so long that I'm really glad that I don't have my head in the sand now, and I can really look back on that and with gratitude, because it was like thank you, Lord, for giving me all of those experiences to be the person that I am, because I'm on a mission now to help people with their faith and their health. That's all I care about, right? Is really helping people with their health, and then as I'm trying to help them with their health, I believe that I can also influence their faith if they're interested, right? So something I'm super passionate about and want to help the world.
Yeah, it's so good, and I kind of have that same that same thought. As I am learning every day, thankfully more and more, but learning every day how to step into. And for me, it's just listening, and that's what I'm trying to. That's my word of the year is just to listen. It's
hard to just sit and listen, isn't it?
It's so hard. It is, but I've kind of had this little turn where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting it, and just help me just to know what it is that you're gonna have me do. And so I see this show as sort of that to a degree, and it's also sort of this training ground for me also, because it's not something that I've really stepped into, is really getting out and sharing my faith, and I do it more and more and more, and this is such a great way to do it. And then I get to have people like you on who have stepped into it and are really there, moving forward. You're ahead of me, and that it's this really beautiful place to sit and learn and share. So,
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad that you're doing it, because it's such an interesting topic, because even though I've been digging into the Bible really deep the last 3 or 4 years and read it every day, and I feel like I'm a baby, right? I look at some of these people who have been doing it for 30 years and went to theology school, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I was such a newbie.
It's so true, but there's always even I think even when you're not a newbie, there's still so much to learn. It's such a
and he literally calls the unjustified, right? It's like I'm not justified to do it, and He still called me to do it. So I'm just going to step in like He has many other people, and just do the role that He's called me to do, and He'll equip me, which is which is amazing. Gives you a lot of comfort and confidence that, hey, I know I'm not going to know all the answers, but I don't need to know the answers. He's going to provide them to me when I need them, and we'll make it happen. So
yeah, it's so true. My husband and I were just talking about that after our church service over the weekend, which, you know, is just that, you know, we feel inadequate. I mean, I feel is so inadequate. But if you trust and you listen, then you know, you don't, it's not up to me, right? That's the most beautiful thing, and sort of that weight that is lifted is, I don't have to, because it's not up to me, it's up to him.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a really good point, right? Because we all, in our own, you know, we all criticize ourselves probably too much, and always have negative thoughts in our head about ourselves, and we just need to get rid of those and just like say, hey, everything is going to work out for my good. I know that. That's what the Bible tells me, right?
Yep.
And I know that I can ask for wisdom, and He's going to give it to me at the right time. So I may know that I don't know how to do that yet, but I know that He's going to give me whatever He needs me, you know, to have at the right time, which is just so bizarre to think about that, because
really
I've never felt that way before in my life. You know, up until the last couple of years. Now I'm like, okay. You know, heck, that sounds really scary. Get in on a podcast, a live show, and talking to people. And it's like, nah, no thanks. You know, a couple years ago, I said, no way. Talking about my faith in front of people, no way. Right? Just things like that. I was like, there's no way in the world I would have thought I would be sitting here doing this conversation. But, you know, 5 years ago, I said, you're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I would not be doing that.
Yeah.
And here I am.
And here you are. I hear you. It's funny you say that, because 5 years ago was when we first started this show. And so Henry's back there. He's the owner of all of this gloriousness. And he, for like 2 years, like, you need to do this. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I can't imagine. And here we are 5 years later. So,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So glad that you stepped in to do it.
I know, me too. Well, let's do this. I really want people, excuse me. I want people to hear your story. I think you have, as many people do, when you start to find your way, you have a really difficult story that you share, but has brought you to this place, and I'm assuming at this place where you can now be grateful for that difficult story. But when you're going through it, you're like, what is the point to all of this? So if you don't mind sharing that.
Sounds good. So I just had a really fun, interesting journey. I wouldn't say fun in some aspects, like you said. It was really challenging. I was a runner. I was an athlete when I was young. I love to do all sorts of athletics, but running was the one that I just found natural to me. And I remember reading a book on nutrition, you know, and it was really important to me because it helped me become such a better runner. By me reading that book and knowing that what I put in my mouth actually fueled my body, and I was a distance runner, so it really made a difference as I was getting towards the end of the race. I was always the one that had strength at the end of the race, because I knew how to fuel my body. And my competition, I don't think they had a clue, right? They're eating hot dogs and hamburgers and
carbon up.
Probably not that bad, but
well, that's the thing. That was the thing that was used to be, you know, let's go eat a bowl of spaghetti before you go. I'm like, oh, geez, I can't even imagine. But anyway, carry on.
No, that's exactly right. So it was one of those things. So I had that as a foundation, which we'll come back to later, because it's an important part of my story. But you know, I did was successful. I won a national cross country championship when I was in a youth, and I got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school that I wanted to get. I went to that specific school because they were developing professional runners there. So I'm like, that's my goal. I want to be a professional runner after school. I don't want to be good just in college. I want to be really good after college. And so I went there, and the coaches were super excited about my journey, and I got second in the U.S. Junior National Championships, which is everybody 19 years and younger in the United States. And I went on an international tour and beat all of the one boy who beat me at our championship, and beat all the best runners from 5 other countries.
Wow.
And when I was young, so super excited, and just kind of the top of the top was like, okay, all my dreams are going to come true in the next couple of years. And then that winter I was out running on a training run. It was a 10-mile run we were on out in the winter. It was really cold and the snow was everywhere and the roads were slick, and my buddy and I were running, and all of a sudden he yelled my name. He jumped into the ditch. I didn't know that time. He was behind me, and I turned around to look and see why he was yelling my name. And all of a sudden I see this 4x4 truck just sliding right into me. And that 4x4 truck hit my hip and threw me 36 feet. So I literally, from here to a long way, 36 feet is a really long way. And I landed straight on my face and then my knees. So my whole side of my face was just road rash and cut open, and I was unconscious. So I'm lying on the side of the road, freezing in the snow and ice, and unconscious. And then I had a bloody nose earlier in the run, and that clogged my throat. So not only was I unconscious, I couldn't breathe. So I would have died there in a few minutes if it wasn't for my friend who I was running with. He knew that I had that bloody nose, and he could tell I wasn't breathing, and he unclogged my throat. So thank God for him to do that. But anyway, that whole incident just had a really dramatic change in my life, just because it was like all of a sudden everything I've been doing for 10, 15 years was for that specific point to get to where I wanted to go, and in an instant it's gone. And so it was really difficult period where I tried to recover and try to get back into running. It just what my body that literally changed physically during my recovery. So I couldn't be the runner that I was before, and had all sorts of problems. But a lot of it was mental, right? Just going through that thing where you lost everything, and that was your goal, and now it's different. And so that was a really interesting period, and I ended up going into corporate sales, and I ended up doing fine in the career, but I really stepped into what the world told me I needed to do, right? The world told me I need to go get a full-time job, I need to get married, I need to have 3 children, I need to have a white picket fence, I need to have a dog, and I need to watch my sports on the weekend, and I need to entertain my clients, and just doing everything that the world was telling me to do is what I was doing, and I was doing a good job of it. But at the same point, I would go to church on the weekend. As soon as the door hit me in the butt on Sunday, I wouldn't think about church again until I walked into the next service, right? And then it was like, oh, hey, this is a great service. That was a great sermon. Boom, that thing. Well, it didn't become me, and so that was a big problem for a lot of my life. But then what happened was that I call it the second truck that hit me. So it had a really similar effect on such a dramatic change in my life was when the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, I ended up losing my sales job, and I was a traveling salesperson. They downsized the sales team, and I was like, now what? This isn't good. And then this is where that nutrition experience came in, as I was just trying to figure out what was going on with this whole pandemic, and I was researching just what was going on. This was the first time I'd have time to actually do research on my own, and I saw them. As one doctor was talking about vitamin D, and how vitamin D can really be helpful for you and with COVID. And I'm like, well, it's interesting. And then all of a sudden I saw them attack him, and it wasn't just a small attack. It wasn't just a few people saying, oh, this person's nuts. The government was suing him for billions of dollars.
Unreal.
And
it's so frustrating.
that made me really think. I'm like, just logically, I'm like, okay, vitamin D is from the sun. I know that from my nutrition days of being an athlete and a runner, that what you put in your body fuels your body. So I was like thinking, how do I save my family, right? How do I save myself through this pandemic and get them healthy and stay away from this virus? And then I see vitamin D as a recommendation. Makes logical sense. The sun, I know, is super important. Now I even know more so that as I've dug in.
Yep.
But the crazy thing is, I just finally researched why. Why would they vilify him? Why are they attacking him? Because it didn't make any logical sense. Then when I found out, the more I found out, the rabbit hole I went down on what I call the medical cartel, or AKA Big Pharma, is a really, really serious, big problem in our country. And man, I saw the beginnings of it, and I researched the beginnings of it. And then when I was doing this skill, I think is super important. I want everybody to have now is just the skill of research. Because don't believe what I say.
Yes.
Don't believe what Nikki says.
Yes.
Don't believe what the media tells you. Don't believe what the TV tells you, or the radio, or even music. Right? Don't listen to what people are telling you. Go think for yourself, and then go find resources that you can trust. And then when you start researching,
which can be hard. Right.
Oh, it's really, really hard to find the right research.
Yeah.
There's so much junk out there. That was the other thing that really made me mad, is I was finding out that our information is really dramatically controlled in the United States. And I had no clue. That made me really, really mad. In fact, that was probably the thing I was most mad about. I was like, I thought we lived in the United States of America, freedom, best journalism. And then I found out how controlled our information was, and how good they are at a message, in propagating the message. We hear 5 different times from 5 different resources, but they sound similar and they all have the same talking points. That then you assume it's true, and so then I realized that was an actual program that they put together to actually inform the world about things, but really it's a propaganda message that we've all been fed for decades. So, so as I was going through all of that, it was a really difficult period of my life too, because I'm like, holy smokes, I've been lied to. This sucks. This feels like back when I got hit by a truck. It's like my life just turned over 100%. Then, because I'm like, okay, this sucks. How I don't like this, but what can I do, little me, to help my family? First and foremost was I was thinking, and then how can I help the world? And so I started doing research on how I could help. I was trying to create some supplements, and one of the gentlemen that came to me that was helping me formulate it, he's like, "Have you ever heard of quantum energy?" And I'm like, "Quantum what?" I'd heard of quantum computing within the computer field, but never quantum energy. So he introduced me to this mad scientist who's been working on this stuff for 30 years, so a very experienced scientist, and just an incredible man. And he told me about these products that he had, and I didn't believe it, right? He's like, okay, you're going to give me this little sticker that I'm going to put on my body, and the sticker has no medicine in it, yet it's going to help me with something, with pain or allergies. And it's like, I had zero confidence, right? Zero confidence that what he was telling me was real. But what was fun about that is I started doing my own research again. Because I didn't say I don't believe you to him, right? But, so I'm not confrontational that way. But what I do is I take information and I'll say, that's really interesting information. Thank you for sharing that information. And then give me sources that can help me understand this, and then he gives me his sources, and then I go cross check it against every other resource I can find related to that topic. And what I found was so fun, because man, our bodies, I didn't know this, are made up of energy. Right? As I was starting to do this research, it's like, okay, wow, okay, our bodies are energy, and even down to the cellular level, it interacts. Our cells interact with each other via vibration, which it gives off a frequency and or it interacts with a frequency. So then I was like, okay, what's a frequency? And so and the frequencies are everywhere. The cell phone that you use every day uses frequencies. The radio you listen to, right, is a frequency. And color and light are frequencies. And there's the things that's like just so basic that I didn't scientifically I didn't understand that's what a frequency was. And then you understand that their frequencies are all around us. And you realize that your body's made up of energy, and it reacts and interacts with frequencies. Then light bulbs started to turn on for me. I'm like, okay, wow, our bodies are super cool. The way that God made our bodies is amazing. And frequencies aren't woo-woo. They're not weird. God made them, right? God made them. So okay, so now let me understand these frequencies. And there's different types of frequencies. There's this type of frequency is what's called subtle energy, which is really different. People either call it quantum energy or subtle energy, and it's something you can't, really hard to measure and really hard to feel, but it still works, and it still has amazing impact on individuals. So the way I found that out was, one, just research, and then have you ever heard of Dr. Emoto?
Emoto, I don't think so.
Dr. Emoto was an awesome scientist, a Japanese scientist, and he did studies on water.
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're
yes.
talking about. The crystals that form.
The water
from
crystals,
the frequencies.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
that was fascinating part of
Yes.
my learning journey too, right? That one of the experiments I love to talk to people about is the rice experiment, where he has 3 jars of rice, and he treats one of them with love and respect, and the middle one he says, "I hate you," and swears at it, and the third one he just totally ignores. So he ignores one, swears and gets really mad at the other one, and then loves the third one, and he does that for 30 days. And after 30 days, the results are ridiculous. It's so amazing. The one that he loved and cared for was still white, a little murky because the rice had been in water for 30 days, but white. The one that he swore at and hated was just gross and moldy and disgusting. And then the one that he ignored was almost as bad as the one he swore at. Not as bad, but really bad. And you look at that result and you're like, okay, come on,
Wow,
that can't happen. But
that one. Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of people have replicated that experiment. So what that tells you is that your emotions and your thoughts and your vibrations can literally have a physical impact on external things. And just like he proved with the water crystals. And so if you're ever interested, you can go to YouTube and look up Dr. Emoto and look at his rice and water experiments. They're fascinating. And so anyway, he proved that these vibrations, etc., have a physical impact on something. And then one of the experiments he did was on prayer, which as a Christian, I was like, wow, that's really cool. They'd have 500 people pray over a bottle of water, and this bottle of water would literally change in structure based upon people just praying over that bottle of water. I'm like, wow, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know to pray to my Lord and Savior, and I pray. I believe I have a communication with Him. That's my knowledge of prayer, right?
Right.
Praying over a bottle of water and having it actually change based upon me praying for it. That was just an unknown topic to me. That didn't make any sense to me. I was a very kind of logical person, and that didn't make sense. But then you start seeing all these other things that surround it, and then stuff starts to make sense. And it's just been a fascinating journey. So back to the product that I was introduced to, these little patches. What this gentleman does is he has a little structure on top of these patches that he sprays, and they're little crystalline structures, and they can hold information kind of like a computer can hold ones and zeros, and like on a hard drive. That's the same thing that he sprays on top of these patches, and then he can program those little crystal structures with information. He programs them with frequencies, Bible verses, and intentions on those structures. So then when you apply it to your body, these are little patches. Here's a little example one. This is our pain patch one. It's really simple and just crazy how effective it is. So you take these little patches. Here's a set of 3 of them. You just take one, and about the size of a nickel. And not very big. I put it on the back of my neck just because it's on my spine. But since it's all frequency, within we've scientifically proven within 15 seconds it connects to the energy system in your body. So you can see your brain waves as if you're in really a lot of pain. Your brain waves are going like this because your body's dealing with something. And then when we apply the patch to those people who are in pain, their brain waves start, after 15 seconds, their brain waves start smoothing out. It's because this system is basically blocking the information from the pain, the source of pain, to their brain. So their body isn't recognizing that they're in pain, because a lot of pain is actually in your head. Yeah. Even though you do actually hurt, but how severe you hurt and how much your body reacts to it is a lot of it's mental. So anyway, it's been a fascinating journey. It's so much fun to find these products that are helping people in a really dramatic way, and it's all natural, and it's so we like to combine it with the power of prayer. as I researched about mind, body, spirit, like I was telling you, the mind is really important. And I was researching that stuff about Dr. Emoto and how prayer can physically help. That we include a prayer guide that goes with every product. So we want you to literally say the prayer out loud using your mouth to declare it. There's power in the tongue. And then you're reading it with your eyes, you're using your ears to hear yourself say it, and then you use the patch for touch. You're using 4 out of your 5 God-given senses to help you with your health. And so it's been a fascinating journey. We're having a lot of fun trying to help people.
Very cool. So talk to me about the Bible verses that you are putting on these and how that works, and is it like a bunch of different ones? What's that look like?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. In fact, we have a base of 40 Bible verses that we put on every. We have 14 different products, just so people kind of understand. Pain relief is our marquee product. That's the one that people like the most. And pain is an interesting one because you know when you're in pain, right? So you can apply the patch, and then all of a sudden you don't feel pain anymore. You're like, oh my gosh, that was the thing. Why it helped me. Oh yeah, but like an immune boost system, a whole bunch of other products, allergy relief and weight loss and other things. But those are sometimes subjective. It's harder to tell if your system is being boosted, right?
Yeah.
But the pain one is white and black, really easy. So anyway, I forgot what you'd asked. What was the question?
It was just the Bible verses.
Oh yeah, the Bible verses. Sorry. So we have 40. The reason why I was going down the rabbit hole of the different types of products was we changed the Bible verses depending upon the issue too. So we'll add other Bible verses that are specific to the issue, if there are any in the Bible. There's some of our products that there's nothing mentioned about that particular issue in the Bible. So we'll just we add a lot of healing verses in the Bible. And so that's what we do with this prayer guide, right? We have an intention and a prayer and a Bible verse for every single day. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
So every single day you get up and you say, okay, like today is what? Today is Monday, right?
Today's Thursday.
No, today's Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Today's Monday. Where did that come from? All right, so Father, thank you. You have all power over every disease and sickness, right? You're declaring this. I call on you to deliver me and heal me. And if you declare that with your mouth, it's super important, because if you declare it enough, your mind, body, and spirit will accept that. And if you accept that as truth, that you have that healing authority, and God may heal you without any other product or any other thing, which is really fascinating. This is the stuff that I'm having a blast learning, because it's like our bodies, God gave us that ability. He gave us the ability to heal ourselves, but most people don't believe it. Right, so you have to know that He gave us that authority, and then you need to train yourself over and over and over again by saying it over and over and over again, and getting God's word in your spirit. When you get God's word in your spirit, He can heal you, which is this so cool, right? That we have that power without any other product, right? So I'm trying to help people understand they have that power and they have that gift, and to help train them to heal themselves, which would be the most beautiful thing in the world, right? If He does that rather than anything I can help people with. But maybe it was just me prompting them to do it, right? And if I'm able to change 1 or 2 lives of people who didn't pray before, that started to pray, and then they got it in their spirit, and the Lord healed them, and I was just maybe that little impetus to get them there, then I've done my job, right? That's what I believe He's got me here on this earth to do. So we change those Bible verses specifically, and then the way we do it on those little crystal instructions, we just put the ones and zeros of that information on the patch.
Okay.
So it's just like the computer drives. When you attach it, literally, those verses and words are connected to your energy system. So it's pretty fascinating.
So is it one sticker that stays on? Do you switch them out periodically?
Yeah, it's an awesome question. So we've designed it to where we have a specific sticker for a particular problem, right? Like pain or allergy or anxiety And so, and you can wear multiple patches at a time, but you know, you don't want to have 10 patches on you, but but you typically, people will wear 2 or 3 of them at a time, and they last anywhere between, last about 48 hours typically.
Okay.
So when they get wet, the ink comes off of the patches when it is no longer effective. So we give people a month's supply of the patches, and then you can elongate them by keeping them dry, and then making sure that you take them on and off appropriately, because they have, it's like it has the little adhesive on the back of the sticker. When you apply it, sometimes if you take it off, you know, the adhesive might stay on your body, or it might, you know, gum up on, just like a Band-Aid, right? Just like any adhesive. So, but yeah, typically a couple days.
So I have someone who I'm thinking about, because I saw him recently. So he's a patient who is literally struggling with global pain, right? His muscles, everything hurts.
Right.
What would you suggest for someone like that?
Well, really, I would say they should try our pain patches, and I have a little advantage because I've been hosting a podcast called I Am Pain Free for the last couple of years, and it's I'm interviewing a lot of holistic practitioners and doctors on how they help people get pain free naturally and safely, right? Because that's my goal, is to help people do that, right? We have these skin patches that work fantastic, so I would have him try the product, try the patches, because a lot of times that will interrupt that signal, and people will go from a 10 to a 2 or 10 to a 3, and where they can function again. And they're so happy because they're like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I've been able to do X in so long, because now I can function. But then the second thing I would do with that person is that most pain comes from inflammation, right? Inflammation is the source of all disease, to be honest. So inflammation is really, really important. So we got to figure out a way to get his body not inflamed, and a lot of that starts typically in the gut. You can help the gut, get the gut health better, and then the organs in his body are going to start working more efficiently and effectively, and then they're going to work the way they're supposed to, and then inflammation is going to start reducing, and then all of a sudden the pain starts reducing as well because of that. So. And that, the reason why I know that is, we've ended up creating a new product that we're releasing very soon. It's a supplement that literally helps with inflammation and energy. So it's a pretty cool, because I love our patches. They're flipping amazing, and they have this quantum energy products. That some people have shown in other cases. I'm not going to say we ever heal anybody, but people have been using frequencies to heal. I'm not saying our product can heal anything, but our product does work really well, and it helps people with those conditions. But I've always had this thing of, like, when I'm interviewing all these doctors, and they all started saying, "Oh my gosh, it comes from the gut. We need to." But inflammation is the biggest cause, the cause of all disease. I need to go find something that's going to help people reduce inflammation.
Yeah,
so that's an important endeavor.
Well, it's so true, and it's the inflammatory response that we still have to understand why, right? Why is there an inflammatory response? What's going on in the environment? What's going on in the body? What is that root cause, or multiple root causes of that inflammation? So often, people think, well, I'm inflamed. Okay, great. I mean, not great, but why? We got to figure out why, and to have a tool that can help to reduce, maybe eliminate pain while we're trying to understand the root cause and address the root cause, whether it's in the environment or wherever it is fascinating. And I think also that introduction, and you kind of already hit on this, but the introduction to, there's more to us than our physical, right?
Yeah.
And there's more to us than what we're going through right now, and how can we expand and look outside of that into the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, all of the things that are so important. You know, I know that when I see, excuse me, when I'm working with my clients and my patients, that I know that I can't just look at them as as their physical ailment, whatever they're struggling with, because it's, I mean, there's some, you know, really sick people who are out there, right?
There's so many things that are causing our water's compromised, our food's compromised, our air's compromised. It's hard to eat. It's hard to live without anything, you know, affecting you. So I see why so many people are sick. So.
Yeah. Well, it's that, and then you have the people who experience significant traumas, whether they're children or, you know, even you know, what you went through was a significant trauma because you thought you had your life planned out, plus the physical trauma on top of that, you know, and all of that was taken away, albeit for the better. Now you can look back and see that,
now
right?
I can see that, right? I sure didn't think that then.
Exactly. And so when you're
my
sitting,
life was over. You know, that's what I felt like.
You're sitting in the middle of it, and it just the trauma perpetuates because you're like, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? What is my life about? What's going? You know, all of these things on top of you're trying to heal physically. So it's this amazing, really difficult situation where you have to look at all aspects. Because someone may not have an infection, but their trauma is perpetuating their inflammation. So it's just, anyway, you know, I digress a little bit. It's just there's so much to people's stories when you're trying to understand how to help them and how to understand that root cause. And I love this because it takes them outside of the physical, which is what so often that's what they see, right? They're seeing that it's all physical, and like there's more to it. Let's address.
They all you know, just put their blinders on, think about that is it. But you're right, they're like you said, their emotions and their physical and spiritual body it's all connected. In my humble opinion, right? The mind, body, spirit thing is really important, and you need to get all three of those in line working together to get healthy. And so that's exactly what I want to try to help train people to do, right? And just understand that you do have a spirit and you do have a mind and a body, and they all three can work together, and your body is made up of energy, and God made you this incredible body that is so complex that people, you know, even scientists today, with all the advancements we have, they still haven't figured out the human body, right? They know a heck of a lot about it, but they still haven't figured it out. So anyway, it's really fascinating to find all these other modalities and ways to help people that modern medicine just isn't, you know, it's designed to be a pill for an ill solution rather than finding the root cause, right? So I love that people like you, that they're out there helping people find the root cause, because we need to replicate and triplicate and quadruplicate you.
and you as well. I think, you know, the going back to, sorry, she's sitting, that little tickle just sits there, right?
I hate that little tickle. Like, you know it's coming to you. Oh, here it comes.
I know. I think what I was trying to say was this is the beautiful thing about science. And science over the last 5 years has really become a really sad state. You know, you can't really call it science anymore.
Right.
But science in its purest form, where we are learning and digging, and we have our studies that are not that don't have agendas, right? We just are trying to learn.
Amen. And that's just been so sad to see how our medical system has been used, right? And science has been so taken over that you can't trust anything when they say it's science anymore, just because it's all bought and paid for, which is just really pathetic when you look at it. it. So, but the pureness of doing a study and having that study, understanding why it works and the science behind it, so that's all awesome, right?
Yeah.
And we need to just get back to that, where it's like there is no agenda, it just is what it is, and then how can we take those amazing things and then how can we help people with them? So I have a lot of reservations about AI, but I do have a lot of hope for AI. And I expect that, I think AI can take, we can take the bias out of these scientific equations and get to the root of those scientific discoveries, and then we can, understand them in totality, and I think it can be absolutely amazing. I think we're going to find discoveries for things that have always been there, but no one's ever allowed us to know. I think that there's going to be lots of really fun things. I'm trying to work with the medical field and the health industry to see if there's ways where we can have a non-woke or a non-compromised version of the scientific evidence, so that we can help people in a really dramatic way. So we'll see if we can pull it off.
Well, I mean, and we're in such this really amazing place right now where we are working to, anyway, put people in place who have the good of people and the good of true science and, no agendas except for an agenda of making people healthy, right? We're in this place where people are so sick and so unhealthy. And why? I mean, especially over the last 5 years. It's just, our health has tanked, and it's been tanking. But if we are putting people in place whose ultimate goal is to make sure that the term science is actually science, and we're learning and we're helping people to get better and to feel better. I mean, that's one of my goals of this show is to bring on people like you who are here to serve, who help people to be the best that they can be, because when they are the best they can be, they can go out and do what God put them here to do.
You were singing my song, because that's literally why I want to help people with their health, right? Because if you're sick on the couch and not doing anything, guess what kind of impact you can have on the world? About zero, right?
That was me last week.
So we need to get you healthy, and then when you are healthy, guess what? You're going to be excited to play with your grandchildren. You're going to be excited to talk to your neighbor. You're going to be excited to do what God put you on this earth to do, and then you're going to make an impact. And so that's really my goal, is that, man, let's get people out there, because we all have that innate in us, but man, it can get hidden pretty easily. And it's just with all the toxins that we eat, and our food is so dramatically compromised. We're not getting enough nutrients. We're not getting enough water. We're not getting enough sun. We're not grounding. All these things that I'm having a blast learning. And then there's so many simple tricks that people can do that are free. Right? Grounding is free. Go get your feet on the ground. It's really, really important, and it's going to discharge the energy and recharge the energy system in your body. It's like, who knew that? I thought my wife was crazy when she first told me that.
I love that.
But guess what? I did my research, and when I do my research about grounding, I'm like, oh my gosh, grounding is amazing. Right? And the sun, the thing that got me to discover all this in the first place, that vitamin D discussion, man, the sun is so important and so healthy. You need to get sun. So people to tell you to stay away from the sun and out of the sun are absolutely bonkers. But the sun is really important. So first 45 minutes a day, go get some of that sun. There's blue light is what it is in that first 45 minutes, and it's just pure and perfect for your body. And then hydrate, man. Most people are just dehydrated. They're not getting enough water. So I'm 200 pounds or so. I'm supposed to have 100 pounds of or 100 ounces of water. So everybody needs to do that, because if you don't have, your body is 60% or whatever percentage they come up with today, keeps changing, but your body's made up of water. So you need water, and then you need the right nutrients. And when your body has the right nutrients, your body's going to operate the way God intended it to be. He put all this amazing stuff on the earth for us. And we need to actually get back to whole foods and those good good, high nutrient foods and get your body what it needs. And then you'll be amazed that if you just did those 4 or 5 things, you can transform your life in a huge way just by doing that. Then you're going to start going, oh my gosh, that was free.
Yeah.
That was simple.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now that I'm starting to eat better, because guess what? You need to start eating to live rather than living to eat. I've always lived to eat, but I have not. I've transitioned that in a very recent way, in a dramatic way, and it's exciting to see how my body's transitioning already. So it's stuff I'm having fun teaching people.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. These things that are free, and it goes back to these agendas that we have, and I can't remember how long ago, however long ago, where this agenda was to demonize the sun.
Yeah.
And we are sitting in this place now where people believe that getting sun is actually going to harm them. When if we don't have the sun, nothing happens. We don't grow.
Literally, nothing in life happens. If you don't have the sun, you don't live.
Yeah, it's true. And that's there are a lot of drums that I beat, but that's a big one, because we have to get in this. I mean, people are constantly covering themselves, and what are they doing? They're putting on toxic sunscreens. Talk about what's causing cancer. It's the toxicities. It's creating an inflammatory response. It's shading your body from the sun. It's not allowing the conversion of vitamin D. It's all these things that are so simple. Like you said, it's basic health, the way God created it, and we've become fearful because of these really disgusting and sick, evil, I believe truly evil agendas. And we're sitting in the middle of a lot of it now. Yeah, I mean, there's a spiritual warfare that is just, circling around all over the place. You can feel it. I feel it more than I ever have. I think it's really scary, but I now have a lot of hope too. I'm seeing a lot of positivity.
I'm so excited to see where we're going with the whole Maha movement, right?
Yeah.
It's like, finally, that people are waking. Obviously, it's horrible for us to get here the way we did, because it is a really big spiritual battle. It's not right versus left. It's not green versus white. It's not color versus anything. It's not what sex you are. It's a good versus evil fight. Period.
Yeah, without
and
a
this
doubt.
good versus evil, they're trying to separate us in every single possible way we can, and they're trying to demonize all the things that are good for us. And guess what? The sun is good for you.
Yeah.
So they've been working. Evil people have had an agenda to make it evil. And it's just like, it's so bad. And I think next time I'd love to have a private conversation with you about some topic that probably good to have me back on the show when we talk about another topic that's related to the sun. So we'll side note that.
Let's do
we'll
it.
tease people for another fun conversation.
Yeah, I think that sounds amazing. I would love that. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So I think another thing, you hit on all of these things, and I really kind of want to dig into them just a little bit, because
sounds good.
One is water. We have been drinking poison water for so long, and we've been duped to believe that chlorine, that fluoride, these things that they've been putting in our water that are literally dumbing us down and poisoning us and making us sick and poisoning our brains and increasing the incidences of osteosarcoma, bone cancers in people, because fluoride sits in bones.
Right.
All of these things, and we're finally hearing it. We're finally hearing, because the people who are out there beating the drums that have big voices are finally being heard.
I know, finally. Right?
Yes.
It's just amazing. Like, I've been researching this stuff for the last 4 or 5 years, right? So I've known it, and I can talk about it, but no one listens to little old me, right?
I know.
That's why it was so fun to see Casey and Callie memes on like the Joe Rogan show, and when Tucker Carlson interviewed them, and they're finally talking about these exact same things. It's like, amen, right? At least now millions and millions of people are starting to hear that same story and same their same understandings, because then just think most people have been hidden, and they don't want to the information that we're all getting is so controlled that it's really hard for people to understand the truth.
Yeah.
So for them to finally have these independent media organizations with Tucker and Joe Rogan and people and X, being able to actually tell the truth and not having it not be censored is just so enlightening that I think the world is going to change for the better because of that. So, and you and I can just help do our little parts along the way, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. There were times, I would have conversations. This was years ago. I have one in my mind, in particular, a girl who worked for the water plant or something, and she was just talking about how important chlorine is and fluoride, and we got to have it. And I'm like, how is it that you really believe that these chemicals are good and healthy and natural and good for us? And it's these things that you I've been talking about preservatives, I've been talking about food colorings, all of these things for years and years and years. But like you said, I'm a nobody, and the people who I've learned from.
You're not. I am. you're a huge, amazing person. I'm just a nobody.
Well, thank you for that. Although not true, but thank you.
I like it.
But we've been working so hard, and it is so fun to finally see that it's like just all of a sudden it just all opened up. You're like, okay, people are starting to get the real information now, and are wanting to pay attention and can hear what's real and good and what is truth. That's how I started this show, was just based on the word truth. At least truth to the best of my ability, right? But so here's what I would love is to, I can't believe we've only got 5 minutes, but is to hear a story or two, and maybe even what I keep thinking about is, because you are so faith-based and you have these Bible verses, do you have stories of anyone who maybe was not a faith-based person who tried your products, and it, any story that you want to tell? But that's kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah, I have so many fun stories to tell about just the product. The faith-based aspect is really an important part of it too, because as people, what we found is a number of people come to us and said, that they tried the patch, and the patch worked, but they're like, this is weird, and what is this prayer guide you're giving me? And they read it, and then it intrigues them a little bit. And that's the cool thing about it, is like, oh, hey, there's some interesting prayers here, or interesting verses, and then people go start researching the word, right? They get their Bible open and they look for that, and they're like, oh wow, that's it, I didn't know that. And then they start looking at the context of how that was being said and why that was said, and so it's got people into the word that they hadn't done before. So I love those stories. We get lots of those stories where people just like, well, that's interesting. I've read portions of the Bible in the past, but was never really interested. But I'm really interested in healing because I've got lots of health issues, and so I started reading some of these healing verses, and it's like, oh, it got me interested to do more. And so that's been really fun and transformational. And then just a couple of stories of people who it's been transformational for. The pain ones are really dramatic in the respect that there's people that have come to us that can't even lift their arm, right? Have for 10 years have not been able to lift their arm. So this one woman, she couldn't ever put a purse on her shoulder because she couldn't lift this shoulder, couldn't lift up her arm. So she always had to have a purse over here, and she'd do stuff, and she basically lived with one side of her body. And she came to us at a conference, and we gave her a free patch and just said, hey, try this patch. She came back an hour later, and she says, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, what? She lifted up her shoulder. And I was like, she goes, I haven't done that for 10 years. And so, to give somebody that ability to function, and have their bodies function without drugs and without medications, and having it be 100% natural and to be that transformational was just like, wow, this is really, really, really cool. And that helped me get over the hurdle of my initial thoughts of, this sounds really strange, and but we tried it with our community, and the community came back and told us it works really, really well. So I was like, hey, you can't argue with people with real transformation, because people are going to tell you, right? They're going to say, hey, this thing didn't do anything for me, or this thing was amazing, and that's what we find. See, some people it doesn't work for. It's a very, very small percentage of. Most of the people it helps in a dramatic way, and it's real exciting, and so they love to actually share it with people. We find people that buy a bunch of our product and they not necessarily use it themselves, but they share it with their friends and family. So it's a blast.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, this is the stuff that I keep thinking about. As I'm in the clinic and working with people, is I my initial consultations with clients and patients are 2 hours. So
wow.
if I have if I had a patch with this patient that I had the other day, who's funny because I'm looking at my phone going, he's emailing me right now. But if I'd had one of those patches, it would be so interesting to give it to him, right? Give it to him to try to see what happens. And so someone, again, kind of going back, because I'm super curious, it's like this was just 2 days ago that I had my first meeting with him. Is one patch sufficient? Can you wear a couple of patches if it's global pain?
Yeah, the cool thing about your body's energy system is it's all one energy system, so it doesn't matter whether you put 2 or 3 on. The only thing it's going to do is your mind is really powerful, and your mind may think it's going to help better, and guess what? If your mind thinks it's going to help better, it's going to help better.
Right.
But it's literally from a technology perspective, it works throughout the entire body. So if your toe hurts, you can put it on your back of your neck, and it's going to help your toe pain. Okay. But some people say, guess what? My toe hurts. I want to put that patch on my toe. So we say, put it wherever you want it, right? If they think it's going to help them there better, great. Go for it. So it's an awesome question, but typically they don't need it. Some people have told us it works better for them if they do multiple patches, and we're not going to argue with them. We're just going to say, if you feel that's worked for you, great.
Yeah, right? you do you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if it's working, we're not going to argue with success, right?
Yeah. How fun. Well, I'm super excited to give them a try. I'm excited to try them out on. I mean, this is something that I can try like almost every day.
Yeah. It's fun because we have a number of practitioners who use it, and a lot of them are muscle testing. Practitioners, and they'll take our allergy. Someone comes with allergies, they'll take our allergy patches and have the person hold it and muscle test them. And I was like, wow, this is like really strong. I was like, that's amazing that and they do that with the pain one too. I don't know. Do you muscle test with your in your practice?
I don't yet. Okay. I've not been confident in my own muscle testing, but there is a course that I'm hoping to take sooner rather than later, because it's fascinating.
Just one of the holistic practitioners that I'm working with just did that recently. That's why it just came to mind. It's like he likes to use it as the way to do it. But we have a lot of practitioners who use it just as they'll have 3 or 4 of our products out, and then they can give it to the person that is sitting in their lap, literally, while they're having a conversation, and the product will help them when it's sitting in their lap. So it doesn't have to be physically attached to the body. So. But it's really cool.
Yeah, super cool. Well, I want to make sure that if there's anything else that you haven't hit on, excuse me, that you do, and that people know how to find you. Because what I know is I'm going to your website as soon as we get off, and I'm ordering some stuff.
I like it. Well, what we need to do, Nikki, is get you a coupon code, because I can set you up as a practitioner, and that way you can give your patients a code, and they can use it to get a discount. But if the people live, they can go to qestrong.com, and then we do have a 15% discount at the top of the website that you can use. In the future, we want to get you one set up and have you use Nikki or something like that we come up with, whatever your practice is, and that way I can bless you for helping me, and then you're also blessing the client with a discount, and so we can help each other that way. That's just really a win-win. You're helping spread the word, and I'm helping you help people.
Yeah, perfect.
Lots of P's in that little part. But.
Wonderful. Okay, so your QE energy QE
QE Strong.
Strong.com. Like it.
QEstrong.com, and and you can use the coupon code there at the top of the screen to get you a discount. And then try it. It's an amazing product, and we're super excited. You'll get one of these awesome prayer guides that go with it. We have actually them online on our website, and you can download them onto your phone, which is what most people do.
Nice.
They lose the paper.
Yes, you always lose paper, but you never lose your phone.
Exactly. So.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to experiment and experience the products and to pass them out. I mean, some of the people I see really need a lot of help, and I'm excited to incorporate this into what I'm currently doing. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, what a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for helping so many people and spreading the word of the truth. That's like so amazing. We need to continue to get the word out. So
agreed.
God bless you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you as well. And stick with me because we'll chat a little bit afterwards. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. You can find me at tastelifenutrition.com or Taste Life Nutrition, all the socials. You can go to the website. You can fill out a free assessment, and I will reach out to you. We'll chat about it, see how I might be able to help, or see how others might be able to help. You know, my goal is to be a resource and, you know, do as much goodness as possible, right? Whether it's through me or through somebody else. So looking forward to having Rob on again. I think it'll be other great shows to come. And I think that's it. So we'll see you next week, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. We'll see you later. Have a good week. Caleb. Hi, Caleb. All right.